In 1947, on the Feast of the Immaculate Conception, Jacqueline with her sister Jeanette and their cousin Nicole stopped at the Church of St. Giles to pray. At the altar, while praying the rosary, Jacqueline suddenly saw a beautiful lady standing before her. Her hands were joined in prayer, with a rosary over her right arm, and to the left was an angel. The lady was situated several feet off the ground and smiling at them. The girls ran out to tell other people and ran into two schoolmates who came back into the church with them. The youngest was 8-year-old Laura, who was able to see, but her older sister, 13-year-old Surgeon, couldn't see the apparition. Dressed in a white gown, the lady was described as very beautiful. She wore a blue sash around her waist, and covering her head was a veil. She had blue eyes and long blonde hair that reached nearly to her knees. The young girls thought she was around 16 or 17. She stood on a stone block decorated with a garland of 5 pink roses. "O Mary, conceived without sin, pray for us who have recourse to thee," were the words written on the stone in gold letters. Surrounded by a bright white light, the angel had curly, long blonde hair and blue eyes as well. He was kneeling on his right knee, wearing a soft rose-colored robe. He held a lily stalk in his left hand and placed his right hand over his heart. His white wings had gold trim, and his feathers moved slightly as if in a gentle breeze. The angel appeared to be deep in thought about Our Lady, and the apparition then soon disappeared into a cloud of silvery dust. When the children returned to school, they told everything to Sister Marie, and she immediately believed them. But Father Clovis, despite extensive questioning, didn't believe the children. When the children returned to the chapel, the lady beckoned them. With a sad expression, she told them to tell the little children to pray for France. Jacqueline asked the lady if she was the Heavenly Mother, and she affirmed that she was indeed the Holy Mother. When they asked about the angel, he turned and announced that he was the angel Gabriel. The Holy Mother asked for their hands to kiss and bended low to reach their hands. But 2 of the girls' hands were much smaller and couldn't reach her. So Jacqueline took them up one after the other and lifted them as though they were weightless. Before leaving, she asked them to return that evening at 5 and the next day at 1 in the afternoon. Jacqueline and Nicole spoke of what had happened and were separated after class to write out accounts of their experiences which matched. Their parents, however, didn't believe them. Only Jacqueline was able to return to the church for the rosary and benediction of the Blessed Sacrament in honor of the Feast of the Immaculate Conception. The Holy Mother appeared and beckoned to Jacqueline, but she debated whether to go forward. She looked back toward her teacher for permission, assuming that she too could see the apparition. When the bell rang for benediction, she looked back and the apparition vanished. Once the Blessed Sacrament had been returned to the tabernacle, she appeared again. On the 10th of December, the 4 girls gathered at the appointed time and started praying the rosary. Suddenly, the Holy Mother appeared out of a shining golden ball that was about 3 feet wide. The ball came out of the wall and opened like a curtain made of silvery light. Behind it, they saw a rocky cave shape and a veil covering her long hair. The word Magnificat was written in gold letters on her chest. The words on the stone beneath her feet had changed and stated that she was the Immaculate Conception. The girls were joined by Madame Trinson, who owned a shoe shop in the town. The Holy Mother then showed the girls the golden cross of her rosary and asked them to kiss it. Jacqueline and Nicole both stood up to kiss it, and Madame Trinson was amazed to see Jacqueline lifting up the 2 younger girls to kiss the golden cross as though they were dolls. They were penetrated with a sense of the Holy Mother's grief, and the metal was cold to their lips. The Holy Mother then made a beautiful, but extremely slow sign of the cross, which took 2 minutes. The girls copied her movements with Madame Trinson looking in astonishment. The Holy Mother then said that she would tell them a secret that they could reveal in 3 days. She repeated her urgent request to pray for France and asked for a grotto to be built with the images of her and the angel Gabriel within it. She also asked that the priest come at 2 in the afternoon along with the children and a crowd so they could all pray. But Father Clovis refused. The girls gathered with about 20 other children and 30 adults in the church. After they prayed a decade of the Rosary, the Holy Mother and the angel again appeared out of the golden ball. She asked for hymns and prayers before telling them to continue to gather at 1 in the afternoon until everything was over. At 5:30 in the afternoon, Father Clovis informed the Archbishop of the day's events. That very same day, the Russian communists decided to abandon their plans of a general strike. Over 100 people gathered on the 10th of December to await the appearance of the Holy Mother. When she appeared, she requested a sung version of the Hail Mary, then asked the girls to kiss her hand again. The crowd was amazed to see Jacqueline effortlessly lifting the 2 smallest girls. During the apparition, Jacqueline's mother called out to her daughter to request the Holy Mother for a miracle so that all would believe her. But the Holy Mother replied that she didn't come to France to perform miracles, but to tell them to pray for their country. She then told Jacqueline that she would see clearly the following day and no longer need glasses. The Holy Mother then disappeared into a golden ball of light. Jacqueline wore thick glasses and had to wipe her eyes often due to chronic conjunctivitis. When she woke up the next morning, she discovered that she had normal vision. Her father ran to tell Father Clovis about the miracle, and the priest finally believed them. At the same time the next day, many made their way to the church. When the Holy Mother appeared, she asked the girls if they prayed for sinners, to which they responded. She then led them through 10 Hail Marys, but only spoke the words with which the angel Gabriel had greeted her at the Annunciation. Jacqueline asked the Holy Mother to heal people who had petitioned the girls for cures. She promised there'd be happiness in families and again asked about the grotto before leaving. The girls were later taken to the sacristy and questioned separately. On the 12th of December, 300 people crowded into the church and the Holy Mother appeared wearing a crown. After listening to the singing of the Hail Mary, the Holy Mother led the children again in praying a decade of the Rosary, pronouncing only the words of the angel Gabriel. The word Magnificat was again visible in letters across her chest. On the 13th of December, hundreds of people gathered at the church. She stated the public miracle that was requested would come later. Jacqueline was also told that the last apparition would take place the following day. Over 2,000 people gathered in the church and began praying the Rosary. When the Holy Mother and the angel Gabriel appeared, she requested that the Magnificat be sung. She asked for more prayers to be said for sinners, and in response to the request for a miracle, she said she would send a bright ray of sunlight. After she blessed the people, the Holy Mother vanished. A bright ray of sunshine streamed through a window and settled on the place of her appearance. It grew in size and intensity that everyone had to cover their eyes. The 4 girls were surrounded by multicolored sparkles, and the beam of light was later determined to be inexplicable by natural means. Such a beam of light would have been interrupted by some of the church's pillars. But after conducting tests, given the sun's position, it was confirmed that it was physically impossible for a normal ray of sunlight to have entered that part of the church inside. Consequently, it was declared to be a miraculous occurrence. After carefully studying the facts of the apparitions, the Holy Mother's request for a grotto was approved. Under the title of Our Lady of Prayer, pilgrimages were permitted and the veneration of Our Lady was sanctioned. The grotto and statues were completed in November of 1988. Though the Vatican has yet to approve the apparition, the site was announced an official pilgrimage site of the Diocese of Tours in 2001.